everyone. Today we're going to be testing out some more products from Makeup of Murder. If you haven't seen the videos that I did with this brand already, I will have those linked up in the corner, but they were so kind to send me a PR package with their older stuff a little while back, and I did 2 videos with those, and I ended up really liking a lot of the product, so I guess they ended up liking me because they sent me their new Valentine's palette. This is called the Partner in Crime. This is what the palette looks like. This is the sleeve of it, and then it pops out like this, and then the inside of the palette is a very pink themed, like Valentine's Day kind of palette, and I will take the slip out here so that you can see it a little bit better. So these are the colors in the palette. There's only 2 mattes. It's this one, and the rest are shimmers. I do wish that there were more mattes, but I know that the shimmer formula from them is beautiful, so I'm very excited to test this out. I don't know what I'm gonna do today. I definitely have to start off by swatching it because I feel like some of these might actually be mattes with glitter in them and that the glitter is going to disappear. So that's going to be the first thing that I do, but I also want to show you the sponges that they sent me as well. So they sent me 2 of their sponges. I'm not really a sponge person, and honestly using these made me realize how much longer it takes me to do my makeup when I use a sponge, which is why I don't really like sponges. But it's really soft, and I like the way that it applied my makeup. I would say that I probably prefer the small one because, like I said, I'm just not a sponge person and this just took too long for me. But this one was really nice for my concealer, and I did enjoy that. I do really like the texture of it. I felt like it's very similar to a beauty blender, I would say, in the way that it bounces. It's also a little bit bigger, so if you want something that's a little bit bigger than a beauty blender and still being a good sponge, you'd probably really like these. But like I said, I'm not the right person to take sponge recommendations from, which is why I didn't do my foundation and stuff on camera, because I'm just not a good judge of what's a good sponge and what isn't a good sponge. Maybe I am, and I just don't give myself enough credit, but I would say that I like this, and I think a lot of people would like it as well, but I can't really like compare too many sponges to be like,
this is what this one is like, and that one is compared to this.
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to take the time to do that. So let's focus on the palette though. So let's first start off by swatching this because I am very intrigued and I do want to know which of these are shimmers and which are mattes because I feel like I might be surprised. So swatching these, there are definitely a couple of different formulas in this palette. There's very glittery shimmers, which I love. I think those are beautiful. And then you also have some kind of more regular, like more satiny shimmers, but a little bit more intense than the satin, I would say. And I think that there's 3 mattes. I want to say that the black is a matte with glitter in it, but like the glitter seems to be staying on the swatch, so I don't really know how that's going to perform on the eyes, but I'm definitely going to treat that as a matte because I don't feel like it's a shimmer. Like, it's definitely not a shimmer, like touching it. It feels more like a matte, but then it has glitter in it, which is very interesting. So I think we're just gonna go ahead and start, also because I don't have that much time to film today. Probably shouldn't be saying that, but let's just go ahead and start by priming. And as usual, I'm going to use my Natasha Denona eyeshadow base, which I feel like I'm almost starting to run out of this and it's getting a little bit low. But this is going on 5 months now, and I feel like that's very solid for an eyeshadow primer that I use basically every single day. So I'm thinking I want to do a bit of a halo eye today, mostly because there just aren't that many mattes. So I'm going to use 2 of the mattes. I'm going to use probably Stolen Heart, which is this one. That's the one that looks more on the red side in a pan, and then I'm also going to use the black. So I think that's going to be the plan. And then for the middle part of my halo, I'm so tempted to use one of these purples because they swatched so good. So let's just first start off by going into this one and putting that into my crease. And that picks up a lot of shadow, so I'm going to tap that off, which is something I don't usually do. And I'm going to focus this very much like right in my crease here, keeping the shape of this pretty round. And as you can see, this definitely pulls a little bit more on the pink side than on the red side, which I kind of like that for being, you know, a Valentine's Day palette. So I guess this is going to be my first Valentine's Day, or first official Valentine's Day look of the season. I don't know if I plan on doing like a video doing Valentine's Day looks. I did one last year. Let me know if you want to see a video where I maybe do like 2 Valentine's Day looks or something. Man, that is very pigmented. I'm a little bit worried about trying to blend this out here. And I say that in the best way possible because I do love me a good pigmented matte, not gonna lie. Like, I would rather a matte surprise me because it's too pigmented than me getting disappointed because I don't feel like it's pigmented enough. And I also just find that very pigmented mattes just don't take as long to work with, you know, like with the new Makeup Geek shadows that I just tried. I will have that video linked up in the corner if you want to check it out, but I just felt like they just weren't that pigmented and it took forever to build them up, and I just don't have that kind of patience. So I'm gonna go in with a clean fluffy brush here and just try to work on blending this out on its own, since there really aren't any lighter mattes that I can use to blend this out with. That's one thing I kind of feel like there was in this palette, because there's so many light shimmers that almost look the same. So I feel like if they had made one of those into a matte, that would have been very helpful, especially because the mattes that are in this palette are very, very dark. So I feel like that blended out beautifully. I'm also going to take that same color underneath my eye here and just basically do the same thing that I did in my crease. So I'm just going to put this down first, and then I'll go in with that bigger fluffy brush and blend this out with.
Stepping out, it's Friday night, how I'm longing for this day. Yes, I'm single, oh, we want to mingle, and my friends are on the way. You got that good vibe, I want to spend some time.
Alright, so it's time to test out the black. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit scared because I don't know how this glitter is going to perform. So this one is called Ride or Die, and it has a skull imprinted in it. I think that is so cute. I don't know, I'm a sucker for skulls. I don't know why. There's just something about them that I find very appealing. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the halo part with this. So I'm first gonna actually, I need a smaller brush than that. Alright, I'm gonna use my Morphe E36 instead, and I'm going to be placing that in the inner and outer portion of my lid here, and I do feel like some of the glitter is definitely disappearing, which is nice because I didn't really want like a ton of glitter in the shadow, but it's going on very, very nice and opaquely, and it's very pigmented. I love that in a black. I know some people like blacks that are like less pigmented, but personally, if I'm gonna use a black, like I want it to be black, you know? So I'm definitely still seeing some glitter here, but it's nowhere near as much as it was in the swatch. I could actually see this being so pretty as just like a all over the lid kind of shade with some kind of a color in the crease too. Like that would be so pretty, but it's not really a look that I'm going for today. I do want this to be more of like a, I don't want to say daytime appropriate or like cutesy look, because clearly, I mean, look at my eyes, like this is looking crazy, but I just don't want this to be like a black smoky eye, you know, like that's not what I'm going for. And I am going to layer one of these shimmers like over this obviously, but I just want there to be enough depth on both sides that you can like still see that this is a halo eye here, and this black is just performing so well. Like I'm honestly so impressed by their formula so far, and it makes me really happy because it's always scary. Like the first time you try out a new brand, it's like, am I gonna like this? But then when you realize that the brand is really good, like it just makes me really excited, because now I look forward to seeing what else they're going to come out with, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be good if they have the same formula and those things as well. So I'm going to just take my time and work on this blend here and make sure that everything is looking good. So I'm gonna dip back into the pink and use that to really make sure that the edges everywhere here are looking nice and blended. I'm also going to pull this from my crease a little bit with whatever is left on the brush, just to deepen up a little bit in the middle portion of my lid here. I don't want that to be completely pitch black, but I just want a little bit more depth. And I feel like maybe this is ending up looking more like a anti-Valentine's Day look, which I feel like is kind of what this palette is anyway, so I guess I am delivering on the message of the palette, or whatever you want to call it, but I think this is going to end up being a pretty cool look. And I think I'm also going to take a little bit of this black and just put that closest to my lower lash line here, just to add a little bit of depth on my lower lash line as well. So I'm just going to run that across my lower lash line here. I don't want a lot of this, I just want to add a little bit of black under my eye as well. And just for that final blend, I'm going to use a little bit more of that first matte shade that I put in my crease and just run that all the way around my eye here, just to make sure that everything is blended. So everything I said about this being a Valentine's Day look, scratch that. This is more like a gothic Valentine's Day look. I don't even know where this is going anymore. I'm matching my earrings though, which I guess that's a plus. So what do I want to do in the middle of my lid? I was thinking I wanted to go with this one or this one, But now I don't know anymore. I'm thinking maybe I want to use one of these pink shades instead. Ooh, that could be so pretty. Maybe that's what I'll do. What about this one? Oh, that could be pretty too. I think I'm gonna use, what was it? This one? I'm so confused. I think that's the one I'm going to use. So this one is called Busted. That's another one that has a skull in it. I feel like I'm going for all of the skull ones today. So I am gonna go ahead and spray that because I just want to make sure that I don't have any fallout. That's usually the reason why I spray my brush. And it also just makes all of the sparkles come out, and it makes the shadow more intense and wet looking. So I'm just starting off by placing it in the middle of my halo where I don't really have any shadow yet, and then whatever is left on my brush, I'm just going to use that to fade out the edges. And I might even go in with the very, very light pink, just like right in the center of my lid after I put down the shadow.
I'm gonna tell you right now, 'cause she's the one I'm thinking of. Hey, the only one I'm thinking of. Hey, she's everything I'm dreaming of. Hey, the one that I can live with.
So I think I am going to do that. I think the one I'm going to use is going to be Wanted, which is this one. So I'm going to take a little bit of that on a small brush here. This is a tiny MAC brush. It is the 228S. And I'm just going to really pop that right in the middle. I don't think it's going to make the biggest difference, but I just want to see. I do definitely think that this is adding a little bit more dimension. Just gonna take a little bit more of that crease shade and just pull this into my inner corner a bit more. And also just through my crease one last time. So I'm not completely sure what I want to do in the inner corner of my eye. I feel like, I don't know, like I'm so tempted to go in with some kind of a different color and make this into like something completely different. Do I want to just keep it to this color story though? Like that is the problem. Like I feel like I really just want to use like a turquoise in my waterline as well as in my inner corner. This is such a tough choice. I do kind of think that I want to use one of my new Fenty eyeliners though. I don't know if you saw the video where I used the blue one, but when I was on vacation, I literally used the blue one every single day, and it's like the best eyeliner that I have in my collection. So I ended up buying 2 more because I just love these so much. So I did get the pink one, and I feel like the pink one would look really good with this look. So maybe I'll pop this in first and then decide what I want to do in my inner corner after. So here is what the eyeliner tip looks like. This is one of the retractable ones. Is it retractable? No, it doesn't go both ways. It only goes up. So what does that make it? Is there a name for something that only goes up? I'm not really sure, but it does have like a twisty thing. So I'm gonna pop this in my waterline and then see what I want to do to finish off this look. Oh, that is so pretty. Oh, and if you wanted to know the name of this is called Cute Thing, and it's one of their fly liners. So let's see, what do I want to do? I have something underneath my eye here that needs to be fixed. Okay, so I guess I'll just use a little bit of my highlighter that I'm wearing. I'm wearing the Smashbox, what is this called? A crystallized highlighter. And then I have a cream highlighter on top, which I cannot currently find, but I will list it down in my description box. And I take a little bit of this in my inner corner because I just don't really know what else to use, and I feel like it's just going to tie everything together. Alright, so I think this is where I want to leave it. I'm going to finish off my eyes. I'll do some liquid liner, some mascara, put on lipstick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the look all done. For my lipstick, I went with a pink because I literally didn't know what else to use. I tried a nude and I was like, no, that's not going to work. So I used I've Kissed from Hourglass. I feel like this is a pretty good match with this look. I don't know. I think this is okay. So as for my thoughts on this palette, honestly, I really like this so far, and I'm very excited to play more with this. Maybe I can use this palette in conjunction with like something else and do 2 more looks or something like that. If you want to see that, let me know, because I really want to play more with this palette. I also want to test out this other matte, which is called Lockup. I'm not really sure what that's going to look like on the eyes, so I'm very curious. I feel like it's just like a chocolate brown, but maybe it's more like the burgundy side. I don't know, but it looks really pretty. So I'm excited. I think that this brand has a lot going for it. I can't wait to see what they come out with next. Really impressed with everything I've tried so far. Let me know if you tried the brand and how you feel about it. I know a lot of you guys have tried the pigments and you really like them. Have you tried any of the palettes? How do you feel about them? I would love to know if you like them as much as I do. So that's gonna be it for me trying out the new Makeup and Murder palette. If you want to see some other first impressions that I've done lately, I'll pop some up on the screen so you can keep watching. And if you're new to my channel, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, and I will see you in my next one.